The next functionality that we will be discussing is data validation. In this sheet, we have a table which has one blank column, product group. Let's suppose that we know that there are only two possible values for the fields in this range. We might want to create a drop-down menu, which would allow us to select the product group category for each row. The way to do that is data validation. First of all, we have to select the range of cells for which we would like to create a drop-down menu. Once we have done that, we can go to Data and click on the Data Validation box. In the first window which opens, we can select as validation criteria List and indicate which are the values in our list. We can either select them individually, as I am doing here, or as a range. There isn't any difference. Once we have done that, our drop-down menu is ready, and we can select the correct entries for each of the rows. Please note that if we try to type within these cells, we will receive an error message. Error messages can be switched off by going to the Data Validation menu, selecting the third window, Error Alert, and unclicking the first box. Once this is done, even if we type over the cells of the range something different, we will not receive an error message. That pretty much covers getting familiar with data validation. In this video, we will learn how to sort multiple columns of data. Let's say that we need to organize the table which we have in this sheet according to one criterion. For example, we want to see in the top rows of the table those products which were sold the most. If we do it with a regular sorting, like the one which we have in these two boxes, it will mix all of the data, and our table will use its relevance. What we need to do is to select the whole table, and once we have done that, we will click on Custom Sort. The dialog box which opens allows us to select which will be the column we are sorting by. I'll pick Volume. It will sort on values. Under Order, we need to select how the data is going to be sorted. We have to choose whether we want the data to be organized from the smallest to the largest value or from the largest to the smallest. Let's select Largest to Smallest. OK. The data in the whole table was sorted according to the volume of sales. This is how we can sort the data in a table based on a custom criterion. Thanks for watching. Hyperlinks within an Excel file give it a more professional appearance. They are often used for the index pages of financial models or files of different nature. It is not difficult to add them to a document. Hyperlinks are references pointing to an existing file or a specific place in a file. In this video, we'll see how to insert a hyperlink, linking a specific place within the same document. We have to be in the sheet where we want to insert the link, and to select the cell where the link will be. After which, we have to go to the Insert tab and select the hyperlink box. In the dialog box, we will choose Link to a place within this document and select the sheet within the document with which we would like to create a link. The content of the cell containing the hyperlink can be modified as any other cell. This is how we create hyperlinks within the document, which allows us to jump from one sheet to another. In this video, we will learn more about the freeze panes functionality of Excel. Whenever you have to deal with a table or data which goes out of the visible part of the screen, it is advisable to use freeze panes, as it allows you to see the title of the table even if you're scrolling down. In order to freeze the third row of this table, where I have the titles of the various columns, I'll select the row below, the fourth row, go to the menu bar, and select View, Freeze Panes. And once there, I'll pick the first option, Freeze Panes. Let's take a look at what happened. If I scroll down the data, the third row remains visible, and we can see our titles. In case I want to remove the freezing of the third row, I'll go to the menu bar, select View, go to Freeze Panes, and click on Unfreeze Panes. This is how we can freeze a row or column of a table in Excel.
Right. So, for this lesson, imagine that you work for a big company. The data you typically work with is quite large. Tables like this one are a frequent occurrence, and this is a perfect example. Many, many rows of data. Some rows are colored in yellow, so apparently one of your colleagues has been through the file because she has highlighted certain rows. Let's suppose she wanted to emphasize the highlighted cells for me. Are you going to have to read all the data? Should you scroll and read the highlighted parts of the text, then scroll again and again until you get to the last row of the highlighted data? Not necessarily. Here is what Excel is capable of doing in these situations. To filter by color, you will have to create a filter. Let's select the top row of the table and add a filter. Then, once we've done this, we can select the type of filter that will be applied to the rows of the table. In our situation, we only want to filter rows colored in yellow. So, in the middle of the drop-down list that opens, we can select Filter by Color. Press the yellow rectangle and only the highlighted cells of the table will be displayed. Generally, if the table contains different colors, you can see all of them here. Alternatively, you could filter by No Fill, which would mean you would see all the cells of the table that have no color applied to them. Pretty great! Numbers speak best for themselves, but visualization tools could help you understand the picture faster. Conditional formatting highlights cells from a given table according to a rule that reflects the information shown in these cells. Conditional formatting can serve as a quick rule of thumb that helps you visualize and read data. If the income statement you see here is to be presented to an executive, how is he going to look at it? Is he going to read the numbers one by one? Some executives do that, but usually these are very busy people who need a quick understanding of the overall situation. So, a professional solution would be to select this area and then apply conditional formatting. We can find it in the Home tab. Note the different visualization tools it offers. Data bars, color scales, icon sets. All of these can be applied to improve data readability. In this example, I will choose icon sets. There are several ways you can use to indicate trends, or higher and lower values. For example, in icon sets, we can create the so-called traffic lights formatting. If a number is above a certain threshold, it will be colored in green. If it is lower than the threshold, but still higher than a lower bound threshold, it will be colored in yellow. And then, if it is lower than both thresholds, it will be colored in red. If you specify no criterion to be used to format the data, Excel will do that for you automatically. However, we advise you to stick to a slightly more professional approach. Open the More Rules dialog box and specify the rules and the threshold values yourself. First, determine the type of rule that will be used. In this table, it is convenient to highlight the cells based on their values. But remember, you can use different criteria to highlight the cells. Depending on the task being carried out, you can highlight the top or bottom ranked values, above or below average values, unique and duplicate values, and, of course, cells containing formulas. The example we will see here is often used in finance. This is the so-called traffic lights formatting. As we anticipated, it is based on the values of the cells. The part that requires your input is determining the value above, which a green light will be shown, and the value which will separate the red and the amber sign. Under Type, You could say whether the values you typed are percentages, numbers, formulas, or percentiles. We see percentages in these two columns. Let's press OK to see what happens. All right, nice. At a glance, you can distinguish good, average, and lower values in the two columns. Pay attention, please. Although I said that this type of visualization could be helpful, one must be careful when applying it. Our rule is that 67% is the value separating green and amber, right? So why do I have 45% marked as green here? Something is not right. Excel converts the values in your range on a scale from 0 to 100. So, in this example, with values ranging from -90 to +80, this value here would be considered as 67% of 170, 90 plus 80. Therefore, around 24%. This can be really confusing. So, the simple solution we propose is to use numbers. Just type in the numbers as decimals, and everything will be perfect. Ha! Now the formatting looks better, right? And it is much more meaningful. I see the positive values in amber and those above 10% in green. Everything below 0 is red. This means I consider a change larger than 10% good, between 0 and 10% just okay, and anything below 0 as negative. Finally, if you want to get rid of a rule, it will suffice to expand the already well-known Conditional Formatting menu and then clear the rule. The quickest way to do that would be to clear the entire sheet. Perfect. This is it for now. Thanks for watching.